Merry Christmas to you all. You know, it's that season of goodwill to all men and women where families come together and we give peace and goodwill to all, and we have a lovely time and we get the gifts that we want, don't we? And we get lots of fresh air and we get lots of rest. And it's just a magical time, isn't it, for so many of us? You know, the reality's a bit different, isn't it? And if you're struggling with your mental health this Christmas, and believe me, lots of people are, the media portrayed Christmas, or the Christmas that perhaps people tell us they're having, is just not real. And for a lot of people, it's not genuine either. I've spoken to a lot of people this year who really dread Christmas and really don't look forward to it. And why is that? Well, wherever you are with your mental health, there's a great pressure, isn't there? There's a massive societal pressure to be a certain way, to buy the right presents, to feel happy, to feel like it's got to be magical, to tick all the boxes. And you don't feel okay. And your depression is still there, or your anxiety is still there. And so what would I advise as someone that's been there to help you to get through this time? Well, the first place to start is what I've just said, is recognise that actually that magical Christmas, that time of great festive cheer that lots of people talk about, is pretty rare once you get over about 12 years old. And that's not me being depressing, and that's not me kind of being a party pooper. It's just about being real and recognising that when you're an adult, when you're a grown-up, there's lots of pressures on you at Christmas. And a lot of the time it can just be too much. And when you think of what we do to ourselves at Christmas in order to rest, you start to see how actually it's one of the worst things for your mental health, isn't it? We completely stop. We probably drink too much alcohol. We eat really fatty or sugary food and then eat some crisps. And then we just sit there and we watch telly and we sit there and probably drink a bit too much and then eat some chocolates. And as much as it's nice to do that, when you do that over a 2-week period, it's not really that good for you. And that, again, that's not me trying to be a party pooper, but you know, if you're struggling with your mental health and you're putting lots of bad stuff into your body, it's not going to help, is it? And so what would I advise that you do over Christmas? Of course, you've got to let your hair down. You know, of course, I want you to loosen your belt and have a drink and treat yourself. But what I also want you to realise is that it's really important that you don't just hope you're going to be okay over Christmas. You just think, oh, I hope my anxiety doesn't affect things too much, or God, I hope I don't feel too depressed, because just hoping stuff's going to happen doesn't help. One of the tools that I found was really helpful was, first of all, however hard this is, you have to try and take a day at a time. If you just try and wish away the Christmas break, oh, I just wish it was over. Oh, I just wish it'd hurry up and we're going to go back to work. That just makes it longer. That just makes things last doubly as worse. And so you need to just try and take each day, each hour, each activity, each moment at a time. Just try and be in that moment. And I know that's really difficult if you're feeling some anxiety or feeling depressed. That's really hard. But if you try and plan forward too much, it will just add to that anxiety. The other thing to say is, if you're experiencing challenging mental health, you are going to get moments of depression and anxiety over Christmas. You are, because it's just like any other time. So how do you manage that? Well, one tool I've learned is to be really open with your partner or your family or whoever you're with about it. Now I know that's tough and I know that's challenging because, again, if you've got a family, it's time to step up, isn't it? Whether it's kids, whether it's parents coming around, whether it's friends. So whether you have a partner or someone you're close with or your family, one of the things I've learned to do is you need to take some ownership. You need to take some ownership of your mental health and say to yourself, on a level of 1 to 10, how bad do I feel? So 0 is you feel wonderful and you feel over the moon. If you manage that, let me know how you do that. 10 is the worst it can be. 10 is, oh my God, I feel so ill. You need to measure where you are on that scale. You need to be real about it. And you need to set yourself a time when you need to step out. Now, I wish in a perfect world you could just step out at any time, but you can't. That's not good for you. It's not good for your family or your loved ones. You can't just step out and go to bed for the whole of Christmas and leave everyone else to it, however bad you feel. You can't. It doesn't do you any good, and it doesn't do your family any good. So what I tended to do last Christmas was say to myself, if my anxiety or my depression is a 7, which is quite bad, I would say to my partner, feeling really challenged here, I'm at a 7. If it goes to an 8, I'm going to need to step out for an hour. I'm going to need to go upstairs and have a sleep for an hour. Now, partners don't always respond well to that, but it's better than you just saying, I'm clearing off. I'm out of it. I'm out of it, darling. I'm done. Because that doesn't give people any warning. And so I think it also gives you ownership. That's one of the other messages. You have to take responsibility for your own mental health this Christmas, however bad it is. So if it's medication you rely on, or it's something else, or some people go for a run to try and just make themselves feel better for a couple of hours, whatever it is, measure it on that 1 to 10. And if you can say to yourself, ownership, where am I? I'm a 6 or a 7, but if it gets to 8, I really start to feel quite uncomfortable around people. Share that with someone you're close to and say, if it moves to an 8, I'm just going to step out for an hour or so and have a sleep, or take some medication, or go and get some fresh air. And it's a real positive way of trying to manage what is a really challenging time for lots of people. So as we come into the festive break, of course I wish you a peaceful Christmas, and of course I hope you have a time of peace and you find some time of peace. But also remember that that's not realistic for lots and lots of people. And if you set the bar too high about how you think you should feel, you will fall under it. It can be a challenging time. It can be really hard. And I really want you to look after yourself. And one of the ways you can look after yourself is to take responsibility for your mental health this Christmas and know when you need to step out. So take one day at a time, as much as you can. Try and be in the moment. You will get through this. The new year will come, and you will get back into everyday life. But if you can take some responsibility this Christmas, know when you need to step out, know that you can get through this, and know that everybody else out there isn't having this wonderful Christmas card picture Christmas. They're not. It's tough for a lot of people. I know, I've been there, and the main thing you need to know is you're not alone.